Well, hello and welcome back. I'm Elle, I'm the Keystone Stitcher, and today is September 1st. So I guess if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, or at least if you're in the United States, our kids have all gone back to school. My time with my grandchildren will be drastically cut because of all their activities. But what does that mean? It means more time for stitching. So I don't know about you, but my stitching will start picking back up again this month. So today I have 5 projects to show you. I have some plans I want to discuss with you, and to start, I have a giveaway. So I did a flip through of the Just Cross Stitch magazine for the fall issue, and there were 2 people that wanted this. Put in the random comment picker, and the winner is Magnolia Nana 1552. So you can reach me. I will put my contact information in the description box. I will have both email and Instagram, so if you'd like to reach me either of those ways, you can get me your address and I will send this out to you. Okay, shall we get into the stitching? Because let's get right to it, right? That's what you're here for. So I'm going to start with the projects that I did the least amount of stitching on, and then move into the ones with the most. So least to most, that typically works for me. This first one I'm going to show you is called A Promise of Tomorrow. The artwork is by Shawna Erback, and it's charted by Geek Threads. And I did very little. So here's where it is. I added like 250 stitches, and I'll put a picture. I don't know if you can even see the difference, but I'll put a picture in here. There's some dark colors that went in to the branches. This is on a 20 count even weave. I put about 0.5% in, so I'm at 23.12%. This was a project that I had chosen to add hopefully an additional 24% to it this year. I just don't want to stitch on it. It's not the charting. The charting is amazing. I had purchased this when I was looking to broaden my horizons and try other companies that did full coverage. And I'd heard about Geek Threads, and I started going through their catalog, and I found this, and I thought, oh, wouldn't this be great when done to hang in the room that my granddaughters shared at my house? Well, since then, I don't have a room specifically for my granddaughters when they come to stay. I have an air mattress that I put out in the main room. And so this doesn't really have a home. And so I'm not going to UFO this, but this is going to take a back seat to the pieces that I'm so excited to have done to hang in my home. So I'm actually in a corner of my bedroom, so I'm just going to toss this over on the bed. So if you think I'm throwing on the floor, I'm not. Okay, this next one got a little bit more work in. This is Night Fairy. This is by Lenart. I found this on Amazon. So it's a brand, it's new. You can find it for, I think it's like $8, $9, and you get both Night and Day Fairy in the booklet. And here's what I did. It's really hard. Yeah, you can see I was working on a stitch, but what I did, I'm working on page 2. So I finished the moon on this page, and then I started on the wing and putting in some colors. And so yeah, I'm just working on page 2, and we pull back, and here's where it was last time you saw it. So this is on a 16 count unnamed antique white, which is what was called for. The only change that I made is, number one, because this is the Night Fairy, and I know that I'm going to put this in a black frame to kind of match the aesthetic I go with in my home. This is called to do 1/1, and I did this 2/1 so that those corners wouldn't be too light against a black frame. So that's the only change that I'm making. Everything else I'm stitching exactly as called for. So that was Night Fairy. This next one, excuse me, this next one is Midsummer's Eve. No, it's not. This next one is Death in the Garden. The artwork is by Megan Majewski, charted by UnconventionalXStitch. This is one of my newer starts, and I've done 6 pages now. So here is where it's at. So I was working on this page, and about 2 o'clock in the morning, because I wanted it done, all I had were some stitches in this corner right here. And so I stayed up to about 2 in the morning because I wanted that done. So let me pull it back and you can see where it was. I think I have a close-up of that page, so let me There you go. Then you can compare that page. But that's 6 pages. Now I started this on the upper right corner, and as you can see, I am stair-stepping the pages. So the next page, I'm going to pull this out after I do this video, and at some point when I sit down to stitch tonight, I will start this page. So I'll do this one, and so on. So yeah, this is on an 18 count. All my fabrics are by Zweigart except for the Leinart and the Night Fairy. And this is called Very Light Pewter, and I just picked this up from 123 Stitch. I usually try to keep enough of this on hand. I like this color because when you have dark colors, the fabric doesn't show through as much, and then when you get down into the light colors and whites, it's easier to stitch on than on a white fabric. So this is one of my go-to fabrics. So that is my next one. So this next one's going to be a little bit harder to show you what I did. This is Midsummer's Eve. The artwork is by Jennifer Taylor. It's charted by Contemporary Cross. And did I say Death in the Garden is charted by UnconventionalXStitch? This is on a 20 count even weave. This is large. This is 500 by 500 stitches. I started this, you can see here, I started this on the upper right corner. I've done 3 pages. I think all 3 pages are done. Don't recall. Not sure if this one is totally done or not. And when I started stitching full coverage, I started with paper charts because Pattern Keeper wasn't available. And when you pick up your paper chart, the first page is always the upper left because the pages are done the way we typically read. So you would do upper left all the way across. The next page would be the next on the left all the way across. And so that's how I stitched. And I'm finding that, especially with Death in the Garden, I like starting now from the right side because I hold the fabric in my left hand. So that's all bunched up. So I decided to convert this from an upper left hand start, and I stitched all the way across. So that's what I did, so that I can now do the stair step that I really like with this piece from the right side. And that will be fun with this because, let me put the picture back up here. You can see if I'm doing the stair step, I will have more variety in color than if I keep working all the way across. So that's what I did. Now this was supposed to get a second day. I worked on this on a Saturday and I was going to work on it on a Sunday, this past Sunday. And I got a call early that morning. My grandson, knowing he started school in 2 days, wanted to come spend a day with me and have a sleepover. So, and because I watched the kids on Monday for their parents to work, it meant that there was absolutely no stitching on Sunday. So this was one day. When I bring this back out, I will continue working here and start doing my stair step of pages from the right. Okay, so those were my weekend projects. The next one is my focus piece, and I really want to talk to you about this. So I'm so excited. All right, let me show you this. I have this double side. This side is done. This is a large piece. This is 603 or 605 stitches across and 200 and I think it's 46 tall. So this is the right. This one I did start from the right, and I kept working, and this is where I am now. So since you last saw it, I can't reach it, this little, I guess it's like a sun, and then all of these buildings. I can't reach around my board, my arms are long enough. I did all these buildings in the back. I did this roof line. This is the beginning of the clock tower, just because I had that color on my needle. And then this domed roof. I filled in the rest of this building, and I filled in everything in those trees right there. And now I'm working on this building here. So I'm going to pull this back and show you a picture of where this section was the last time you saw it. This is on a 16 count that I just dipped lightly in dye to give it that effect of sky and yet not interfere with the negative space in these buildings back here. Okay, so let's talk numbers. And I'm gonna have to get my cheat card here because the numbers are, okay, so when I started August 1st, I had 60.26% complete. By August 15th, I had 66.24%. I didn't have a whole lot of stitching time. There were days that I missed, but that was a total of 6%. Then from August 15th to today, I'm now at 74.26%, which was roughly an additional 8%, bringing my total for the month to 14.26% stitching. Now, what does that mean number-wise? I had 17 days that I stitched in the month of August on this piece. And on August 1st, I started 55,191 stitches complete. I'm now at 74.365 stitches complete. Did I say point again? 74,365. I never give you the actual stitch count, so I'm used to percentages. That meant that I had completed in the month of August, even with things I was doing for the summer and having the kids, I completed 19,174 stitches. That leaves me with 17,187 stitches, and if I can stitch every Monday through Friday, which is my goal on this, I will have 21 days. So I will have an additional 3 days of stitching, and I have roughly 2,000, almost exactly, I have 2,013 stitches, right? 2,013 stitches less to do this month than I had, that I completed in, man, what is wrong with me? Than I completed in the month of August. So with the kids in school, with less activities going on as we're moving into September, that should give me more time to stitch. It shouldn't take the entire month. Definitely, I don't see this done when I see you on the 15th, but I do see this done, as my goal was, on the 1st of October. So how much further do I need to come over? Well, this blue spot right here, the building down here comes out an additional 7 stitches. So roughly about there. I'm not going to count it, but roughly there. So I just have to complete this. So you're probably looking at that and going, that's a lot to stitch. But let me put a comparison picture in here. Now I showed you where it was 2 weeks ago. Let me show you where it was when I started on August 1st. I need to bring this back further. There we go. Can you see that? So you can see I completed quite a bit in the month. And all I have left to do is this section right here where my hand is. Now the ground is done until I get somewhere right around that door. And then I have some colors I filled in, but there's still a couple more to do. So I've got a little bit of the ground, these 2 buildings, which the buildings stitch up much quicker. There's a lot of, I don't know if you can see, I've been working on a lot of white in here. And you can see like right in here, there was a ton of white in here. So yeah, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say block stitching, but at least a lot where you can thread your needle in and need to thread it a couple of times before you have to switch. And but it's not block stitching. So that one, you will definitely see. We're moving into plans now. You will definitely see this when I see you again on the 15th. I'm toying around with a few other things. So I know that today I'm going to work more on Death in the Garden and get that next page started. I know that during the week I'm going to stitch on 4 Seasons. But what else am I going to work on? I would say whatever strikes my fancy. I do have a couple ideas that are floating around in my head. I'm thinking I'd like to bring Strength back out. This is Strength. And get her, I would really like to get like at least into her hand, start really getting into her. I didn't pull that out today, but if I work on that, I will definitely take a picture of the before. I could start Broken Wings. I'm not sure if I have fabric. I would have to look. This is Broken Wings, and this is a purchase I just made a couple weeks ago. And I've had quite a few comments of people asking me to start that one. So that's a possibility. Another possibility is to restart Masquerade. I finished the, okay, wait, let me back up. Broken Wings. This is by Geek Threads. It is available on their Etsy shop as well as their website. And then Strength is by UnconventionalXStitch. Masquerade is also by UnconventionalXStitch if you're looking for it. And then the other one that I'm toying around with is we're going back into football season. And it's the only sport that I actually follow. Last year, I decided to work on all of the black in Strength. And I completed 8,000 stitches a month on that on just working black. Now there's a ton of black in that, and I still have about 13,000 to go, but it's not block stitching. But the reason I chose that was the upper section was all block stitching in black. So I could outline an area, and then while I was watching a football game, I could just, find the hole, pop, and I could glance down and make sure the needle was where it needed to be, and then I could look back up at the action. So I have one other project that I'm thinking might be a really good project for football stitching, and that is this. So this is life support. I'll put it here. This is charted by Megan, Stitching Moon Designs. Her charts are available on Etsy, and the artwork is by Giuseppe Macconi. So this section over here is very little black, very little black. Let me bring it in and you can see all those different colors. There's greens and blues and what have you, and grays, but very little black. But if I finish stitching this page, this whole last page, there's a whole section where it's nothing but 310. So if I were to stitch, this is all the wider it will be. This is the end of the fabric. So if I were to stitch over here, just kind of count over, then I could start filling in the black, and that would be a really nice piece to outline and just have as my, because it's not really that, I don't hate block stitching. If I don't have a whole lot of time, it's nice. If I just have a couple hours to stitch, an hour or two, then I can get a whole lot of stitches done in a short period of time and I feel like I accomplished something. But it's kind of monotonous, right? And you don't see things developing. So it's not my favorite stitching, but I'm not one of these people who hate block stitching. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. What do you think? Should I have a football piece this year? Should I restart a piece? Should I start Broken Wings if I have the fabric? Yeah, I don't know. I know that I'm going to finish 4 seasons this month, which means I have a finish coming, which means I could start one. And this is a big finish. This is 4 seasons is my oldest piece that I have. I started in 2019. So yeah, it's kind of like, hey, pat myself on the back and let's have a new start. So I don't know. But I hope that you're enjoying the last gasp of summer if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. We're, our weather is up and down as we go into fall. We're not there yet. We say it's fall because the kids go back to school. So it's like, okay, summer's over, vacation's over, it's fall. But it's technically, calendar-wise, it's not fall. So enjoy it, whatever your weather is. I hope you enjoy it and can get outside. And I hope you get a lot of stitching done. And I will see you on the 15th. And Magnolia and Anna, get in touch with me. Have a wonderful month, and I will see you soon. Bye.